Yeah, once I get going, I'll explain it. Yeah. Alrighty. Bye. What is up, guys? Racing Studios here. Welcome back to another video. Well, what's English? Can you tell me what English is? Welcome back, guys, to another live stream. Now, this is going to be a video, and I actually feel a little bit proud, to be honest. Bell Alliant reached out to me, and they said, hey, since we know that you have a really rough background with bullying and stuff like that, they wanted to know if I would reach out to my subscribers and explain my life story, like how I've been bullied, how I've dealt with the situation, and how you can deal with the situation. So, first and foremost, I want to thank you guys so much for 400 subscribers. I know every YouTuber says it, that they're never going to reach their goal, but I honestly thought I would never reach my goal. You guys know my editing, it's like borderline editing skills. It's maybe on an average rate now, and I know I have to improve that. So, I want to thank you all for 400 subscribers. It truly means a lot to me. But you know what? I want to set a bigger goal, and I want to go for 1,000. Now, that is a bit of a stretch, but we can do it. We can do it. So, moving on with this live stream. Myself, I'm 17 years old. I was born June 5th, 2000. And I'm now going to explain my life story, and if there's going to be one hate comment, I'm just going to ignore it. I'm going to ignore it and move on. I'm going to walk away from this with my head held high. Now you might see some tears, you might see some occasional yelling, but please realize that it's just, I want to say normal. Because it's like, if you want to, come into my life and bully me, oh, fuck, you're in for a treat. So, I'm being told right now on my YouTube servers that I'm not sending bitrate fast enough. Oh, I am. They're just being real bitches about it. Nah, well, fuck it. It's fine now. Alright. So, moving on with my life story. Myself, I'm 17 years old. And I have a life story. Now, it all started when I was 2 months old. And the only thing I remember is, that would be my mother, Crystal Baristow. She's currently deceased, and there's a reason behind that. Whenever I was a baby, first of all, my biological mother, Crystal, loved to bike ride, hence why I bike ride everywhere. I have that inside her, and I never want to lose it. And, I was told, I knew I didn't have a biological mother. I knew that ever since I was 12 years old. But there was something significant that I found out when I was 14, and we'll get there, don't worry about it. I still have a very good memory of her. I have a very good memory of what she looked like, what she used to do. Everyone does of their mother or parents or whatever. Everyone does at one point. Now, Samantha and Sadie have been adopted. Samantha is not with her original family, neither is Sadie. So I do feel bad for the both of them. And what happened to me was this. It's actually a very interesting story. So, like I said, I am adopted. It is for another reason. My biological mother was murdered. She was murdered when I was just an infant. And I'm telling you, I remember, I was lying in the goddamn crib, and I watched her walk out the door with her bike and go for a bike ride. And obviously, now it all makes sense, because she walked out of the house with a bike, and I said to myself, she's probably just going for a bike ride. Well, now that I remember, I didn't say it to myself when I was a baby, but now that I remember, she was just going out for a bike ride. Well, you guessed it, that's the last time I've ever saw her. That was the last time I ever saw her. Never saw her ever since then, and then I remember my biological father walking in the door. Walking in the fucking door with tears in his eyes, and it's like, for a 6-month-old baby, you just don't know what happened. You don't know why your father's upset. You don't know why there's people at your place. You don't know any of that. You honestly don't. It's scary as fuck. That's like someone coming up to you and saying, hey, your dog died. Fuck, really? Tell me again. And it's just, it was really mind-blowing, because I never thought I would see the day where my father would come in with tears in his eyes, other than the fact for a different reason, which I will eventually get to. Now, before I move on, there are some sensitive topics in this live stream / presentation / whatever the fuck you want to call it. So at any given time that you feel the need, you have to move away from this video, please feel free to do so. I'm not forcing you to stay. You're staying at your own free will. And so then I remember being taken to an adoption building, and actually I bike by the adoption building every day, and believe it or not, that adoption building's the hospital, as they have an adoption center inside. So my biological father, who I still see to this day, and I'm thankful I do, and he still loves and cares for me as always, he put me up for adoption. The reason why, because financially he literally couldn't do it. He wasn't making enough money at his job, and I completely understood. I know what it feels like to not make enough money and barely live in a household. I mean, right now we're lucky to be back on track. I'm lucky I still have all my equipment, because the next thing for me to do is to start selling, and I didn't want to do that. We'll get there. So he put me up for adoption, and then he came to his parents, which would be my mother now, and I'm fucking thankful I have my mother. Mom, I know you're gonna watch this stream, and I'm thankful I have you. I know we've been through thick and thin. Everyone has with their parents at one time or another, but I'm thankful I have you. Really and truly. If I was with another family, I no idea where I would be. So she put me. She wanted to adopt me because she wanted to keep me in the same family. And this is where I say I can't emphasize enough to please hang out with your loved ones as much as you can. You don't know when they're gonna pass away. And I have the perfect relatable thing with my father, and we will get there. So Mom put me, or I'm gonna use her name as Mom. Mom took me into the family because she wanted me to stay in the same family side. I wouldn't go to a stranger family and not know what was happening. So she said, you know what? I'll take him into adoption. He's a really good child, and I want to raise him the way that so he can still have a family and still have a good family that I know will be okay. So she took me in. And I remember, like, I have a photo album upstairs. I remember me walking into a court at the age of 6 years old, and this was for custody. So I'm walking in wearing t-shirt, shorts, and shoes. And I walk in and I see this Nancy Orr, Judge Nancy Orr. And I don't remember a lot, but I do remember some things. As in, I remember her saying that now Shelly and Peter are now in custody. I'm not releasing their last names because privacy. But, or one of them's dead, but anyway. So I remember she saying that now I'm in custody of them. And it took them 6.5 years to get custody of me for the full adoption. So, that's because it was in the same family. So, they took me in and they raised me to the best of their ability. I will admit, I was a little shit. Everyone is at one point. But I was, oh my god, it was so bad. Ugh. It's not funny. Why am I laughing? When I was 8 years old, I ran away from home. I took the bike and I went bike riding. All I was wearing was a long t-shirt. Thank God. This was at 5 o'clock in the morning when Mom used to work. Well, she still works now, but when she used to work at a different place. So, Mom got ready, came downstairs, and she realized her son wasn't in her room. She realized the bike wasn't downstairs. Where could he be? Well, the scary mother that I've made of her, she called the police, and luckily a taxi driver found me, and they knew Shelly and Peter. So they said, hey, we found your son biking 15 kilometers away from home. I somehow got myself from my house to the fucking bowling lane. I somehow got myself there, and I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I managed. And then, like, the start of, you know, I shouldn't say preschool. Elementary school was pretty fun. You know, the typical, you go to school, you meet new teachers, you meet new friends, etc. And it was actually during pre-K where I've met Sadie and Samantha. I almost said Brianna. That's not her name. It's Samantha, dude. That's where I met Sadie and Samantha. And I'm telling you, Samantha's gonna shoot me in the fucking face for saying this, and so is Sadie. But I remember chasing both of them around when we were just little, you know? Like, especially, well, we didn't go to the same elementary school, but in pre-K, we were pretty much old enough to go outside and with supervision and fucking two wheels and chase other people. And oh my god, I would chase Sadie and Samantha the most. And to this day, I still talk to both of them. I talk to Samantha the most, especially to my girlfriend. But I talk to pretty much the main people I talk to the most would be Samantha, my girlfriend, and Sadie. And I'm glad I have all of them in my life, especially my girl. And I know she's going to watch this stream whenever she can. Hell, she might be watching it right now for all I know. If I get a text saying I'm watching it, I won't be surprised. So moving on. Now comes grade 6 to 7. Now this was a bit of a rough patch in my life because of a lot of things that happened. My father was very ill. He had a disease. It was like a kidney disease where he was limited on pretty much everything, and he couldn't eat a whole shit ton of stuff because of how much he was limited to. So he got really sick, and he ended up in the hospital for 6 to 8 months. And it was during these 6 to 8 months when I realized that is he gonna be okay, or is what's going on here? And to kind of put it in perspective, he used to weigh 180 pounds. During this time, he only weighed 128 pounds. He only weighed about as much as me, and he was in his 50s. So I mean, you tell me that's not healthy at all. Like, I mean, you could pick out every bone in his goddamn body. So obviously IVs, full max, like the whole works, the whole 9 yards. And then after those 6 to 8 months, he got healthy. He went back up to 220 pounds, and life was good. And then it happened again. And now this is where we lead to grade 7. Grade 7 was absolute hell. I don't know why. So there was a new policy at school where you could take your laptop in, and they would give you the Wi-Fi to do work with. And obviously they would watch your screen to make sure you're not playing games and stuff like that. So what happened to me in grade 7 was I had my laptop in the library, and you were allowed to play games during, like, lunch break or intermission or in between classes or whatever. So this is gonna get funny as fuck, but I took the laptop to the library and I started playing Minecraft. And now, when lunchtime ended, I started walking back to my class, and thank God there was a fucking camera in the corner where it saw me. I started walking back to class, and this kid behind me, I'm not saying his name, but this kid behind me, he decided to take my laptop, throw it down the whole fucking hallway, and then almost start a fight right in the middle of the hallway. And everyone started gathering around. I remember because it was the 3 nights I stayed up for at least 3 days. Like, I couldn't get to sleep after. I didn't go to school for that week. I felt that hurt because as me and him were having a fist fight right in the hallway, he was throwing the punches. I was just fucking kneeling on the floor praying for dear God mercy. And I ran back and I got the laptop, and he took it right from my hands, and that's when I screamed, "Fuck you." Every teacher came out of their classroom and said, "Alright, that's enough, you two, break it up." And then obviously we broke out, we went down to the principal's office. But the one thing that stuck in my mind is that everybody was gathered around the hallway, pulling out their cell phone, recording it. Can you fucking imagine? Everyone is right there in the hallway, pulling out their cell phone and recording it. No one's doing a goddamn thing to stop the fight. And the worst part is that most of my friends knew how sensitive I was. They knew how sensitive I was the moment that someone does that. And my best friends that I looked up to at that time just looked at me and walked away. They looked at me, walked out the door, and never came back. And I texted them when I got home. I said, "Where the fuck were you?" And they said, "Well, we didn't want to witness you get your ass handed to you by a 300-pound kid, so you tell me." And I'm like, at a time like that when I needed you, you didn't bother to step in? They said, "Well, no, because I'm trying to save my reputation." It's like, if you're trying to save your reputation, you could at least possibly save my life! For all I know, I could have got bashed in the back of the fucking head with the laptop. And these things were thick. I still have the laptop to this day. And it still works. Why? But it's like, no matter what people do, they always just pull out their cell phone and just record it. And it's the part that hurts the most when they do that. Because now it's no longer just a school fight, now it's a fucking internet fight. I feel like I'm Brockmire all of a sudden. If you don't know what that show is, what are you doing, man? It's a good show. It hurts so much. Oh no, that's not the end. see, there was a kid that lived out back when I used to live at my old place, which I'll eventually get to. And he owned an airsoft. Well, he owned a BB gun, same diff, but he owned a BB gun. And he always shot the BB gun for girls, you know, showing, hey, I can shoot here, here, or here, and not get in trouble. And he always used to bring girls back. He was basically just a fuckboy. No, he was a fuckboy. There is no doubt about it. And it got to the point one day where he had 3 girls over. And yes, I mean 3 girls. Because obviously when you're... Yeah. So he had 3 girls over and he had his BB gun. And it was a problem for about 5 or 6 months. And then it kind of disintegrated back to a normal thing. So... what ended up happening was that I was playing with Emma. You know, I still talk to her to this day. I actually saw her yesterday. And this was way back. Like, this was 6 or maybe 8 years ago. Fuck. Yeah, 8 years ago. And I remember I was standing behind a plastic patio door. And he started shooting his BB at full blast. And now those BBs are shooting at 600 feet per second. So you do the math on a plastic glass screen, it ain't gonna do shit. It literally, like, he was taking holes out of that patio door screen, and luckily no one lived there. But still, he was taking chunks out of it, like my whole body was up against the door. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, and finally he comes up to me and he says, I'm sorry. He points the BB gun blank range at my kneecap and fires. That's when I run to the door and I yell for Mom, and she goes, what happened? And I go, well, look at my kneecap, look how swollen it is. My kneecap was the size of a fucking golf, or baseball I should say. It was that swollen, and I was worried that the BB got stuck at my leg, because if it did, then they would have to open up my leg and take it out, because then it would be an issue for the bones, and it actually might break the bone. But luckily it wasn't stuck in the leg. But anyway, Mom immediately called the police, and they came over and they took his BB gun and they snapped it right in his face. I'm sorry, I fucking laughed. I laughed and I laughed and I laughed. And they didn't stop me. They didn't stop me. They said, if you ever point a BB gun at someone again, I'll make sure your ass is in jail. And they were even pointing tasers and shit at him. They're like, you know what? We've had enough of your bullshit. Put it down before I taser your ass right in your fucking nuts. Oh, and the girls? They jumped over the fence and ran away. Like, as soon as they heard sirens, they jumped over the fence and ran away like they were fucking prostitutes. Guarantee you they were. I wouldn't be surprised considering where we lived. But, that ain't the... Wow, this oversteer, though. That's fucking horrible. Anyway, moving on. So, he decided that, okay, he would admit defeat at least, and then not use his BBs anymore. So, what happened was I had to carry a walkie-talkie with me everywhere I go. Because it got that unsafe. Like, everywhere I went, I carried a radio with me. And I still do to this day. Oh, it's so rough. So, I had to carry a walkie-talkie with me because Mom's like, just in case he ever bugs you, I want you to press the call button and then I'll know where you are. It's like, yep, okay. So, I was biking back to my place. I came in the back because it was an apartment building. I came in the back driveway, and there he was, sitting at the end of the driveway, literally waiting for me with 2 other girls. And so I say, okay, I'll just bike right by him, and hopefully he won't say anything. Boy, was I ever wrong. He pulls out his little pistol BB gun and starts shooting at my tire. He actually did get the tire, the front tire. I near went head over handle, but luckily I jumped off the bike, sent the bike into the grass. At my friend's window, it hit the glass, it didn't break it. And my friend came outside and said, you know, the fuck's going on here? And he just went, oh, target practice. On what? The goddamn bike? So anyway, we called the cops again, and he came over, and he was in jail for at least 4 months because it was a assault with a deadly weapon. Now, if you don't know, an airsoft gun is a deadly weapon because at the right given moment, if you shoot someone's eye, what eye? So that was 2 times the cops got involved for one reason. And now we go back to high school, still grade 7, 8, and 9. This continued for 2 years. I can't fucking do math. 2 years. This girl that, you know, I don't know if it was just a Danny thing or an everyone thing, but this girl, we argued like an old married couple. It's not even funny how much we argued like an old married couple. Oh, A&S is here. Oh shit, the mic's on. Oh, whatever. We argued like an old married couple, and it wasn't even funny, and one day I got to the point where it started hurting us real bad. Grade 8, my grandmother, both her kidneys was failing, and I said, well, fuck, I'm gonna lose my grandmother. You know, I had so many memories with her, I still do to this day, I still possess those, etc. But she died because both her kidneys failed, and they failed on her due to old age. So she didn't die from any disease, it was just straight up old age. And it was grade 8, I remember I walked in with my head held high, and I couldn't do any work. And my teacher pulled me aside after class, and she just looked at me. She just looked at me, and I bawled it. And then she said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Well, my grandmother died." And she said, "Oh, well, damn." So I talked to her for about half an hour, cleared things up, and then went back to class. Now, it wasn't easy, because somehow the whole class found out that my grandmother died, and one kid came up to me and he said, "It was your fault." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "It was your fault, your grandmother died. You put too much stress on her life, her kidneys failed, and she fucking died, okay?" And I mean, being that old, in grade 8, what, 14, 15 years old? Being that old in grade 8, you know, when you're about as stubborn as me, you start believing stuff. And for some reason, I started believing that. I started believing, oh fuck, is he right? Like, there's so much stuff that happened. It was like, what? Curtis Noble, why did you say I love you in the chat? Come on, man. Really? I can't even drive now because you said that. Anyway, moving on. So, it took me a little while to get over her, and it was... Dog was making funny noises because he's dreaming. Thunder! Thunder! Come here! Come here! Come on! Hey! Come here! Okay, fuck you then. So it took me a little while to get over her. And it was really mind-boggling because in grade 7 I got bullied, everyone watched, and then I got bullied again, so that's number 4. My grandmother died, I got bullied again, that's number 5, and picked on, by the way. And for 2 of those, the cops did get called. Because I was getting picked on at school. The school didn't want to do anything. The school just said, "Oh, you know, it's just school life. He's gonna have to deal with it." And my mother just fucking flipped. She flipped. She said, "It's just school life. It's just school life for my child to come home with this fucking head between his shoulders. And how was your day?" "Oh, you know, the normal, usual bully." My mother said, like, my mother lost it. She just went berserk. She just straight up. And then it came to grade 9. In grade 9, it wasn't that bad. I did have a really good teacher, and she was actually an amazing teacher, and I'm saddened by the fact that I let her go. Fuck! But she was a really, really good teacher, and I mean, anything that ever happened to me, like my father getting sick again, you know, she instantly just came up to me and she's like, "Oh, are you sure you're okay? Like, are you sure you're not gonna do anything stupid or do anything like that?" And I said, "No, I promise you I'm okay." So grade 9 wasn't that bad. And I forgot to mention one thing. Grade 7. This is where Samantha comes in. And I know she's gonna watch the stream and tell me to fuck off, but it's true. This is grade 7 now. Samantha called me one night, and I don't even want to say what happened, but she called me one night, and this was when I was allowed to sleep over at other people's places with other parents' permission. So she called me one night, and she said, "Danny, I need your help. There's something going on at the house, and I just can't deal with it." And I said, "Okay, what is it?" And she told me. So I asked Mom, I said, "Can I go to Samantha's house for the night to stay over?" And she said, "You know what? Sure. I trust Samantha, I trust her parents. By all means, go ahead, hon." It's like, sweet. I stayed over at Samantha's house. I'm tearing up. Oh, fuck. I told myself I wouldn't cry. But I stayed over at Samantha's house, and I slept on the couch. She slept in her room. And I remember perfectly. It was 1:30 in the morning. I hear a scream from upstairs, and it's like, okay, that's a Samantha scream, and something ain't right. So I waited. I waited to make sure that her parents wouldn't wake up, because her parents slept in an extra room, but oh my god, her parents were heavy fucking sleepers. I will tell you that. They were like her parents were like the Toyota Celica of drag racing. they were that good of a heavy sleeper. So anyway, Samantha screamed, and then she pressed the emergency button on her phone. And my phone went fucking nuts. I didn't even have to look at my phone to know that she needed me. Can someone buy me a fucking Red Bull so I can stop yawning? I didn't even have to look at my phone to know that she needed me. As soon as I heard my phone buzz, I ran upstairs. I didn't care if she said, don't come upstairs. I ran upstairs. And now if you're gonna say Samantha's my sister, she's not. But I've known her for 14 years that I can treat her as a sister because if you want to be completely honest, she feels like a sister to me, and that's what I appreciate. Not a lot of people stay with your boy Danny just because they trust him. My girlfriend's gonna fucking kill me on that one. But I ran upstairs and there was this guy in the window. And the guy in the window just looked at Samantha, looked at me, looked at Samantha, looked at me, and backed off. And I'm like, I'm sorry? He did exactly that. He looked at Samantha, looked at me, looked at Samantha, looked at me, and then backed off. Now, I don't know who it was, but I know who it was now. And I'm not allowed to say, because police records. But, let's just say it was someone much, much older than Samantha. So, he didn't come back, thankfully. And then there was another incident where, like, that night, I had to comfort Samantha for at least 3 hours. That was the longest night of my life. Comforting her like that. It drove me up the wall to think someone would do that. So, she called me again, and she's like, this time it was all happy. She's like, you want to come over for a sleepover? Fuck yeah, I'll join you. And anyway, I joined her for a sleepover, and I slept on the couch again. And this was like maybe 4 months? Yeah, 4 months down the road. I slept on the couch again, and she slept back upstairs. Now, I was kind of sketch leaving her upstairs because of what happened last time I was over, but this time I was sleep deprived. So I eventually just fell asleep, not really giving a fuck, and I kind of regret doing so. You'll find out why. So I kind of regret, being a little sleep deprived that night, because what happened was the same guy came back. He came back in the window, Samantha screamed, pressed the emergency button on her phone. I didn't wake up. The guy opened the window, Samantha pressed the emergency button again. I still didn't wake up. And what Samantha did was really clever. What she did, she had a lamp beside, like, on her nightstand, and she took she went like this to the lamp and threw it off the nightstand. Everybody in the household woke up, including me. And it was just like, what the fuck? Did she fall off the bed? Did she shit herself? Like, what happened? So I ran upstairs, and Samantha always keeps a hammer right by the door in case someone breaks in. Luckily, the hammer was right there. I grabbed the hammer, and there's this old guy on top of Samantha. And he's not just fucking tickling her ear and having fun. No. Like I said, I know it's going to be sensitive, but he's not just on top of Samantha having fun. He's doing something else. And I immediately took the hammer, and I swung it, but I didn't hit the guy. I swung it right above the wall. Like, now there's a hole in Samantha's wall. She's not there anymore, but there was a hole in her wall. And if I would have aimed a centimeter more downward, I would have crushed the guy's head. Like, the hole, like, the bottom part of the metal, like, the bottom part of the head of the hammer was touching his skull. And I said, if you fucking come near her again, I swear to God, I'm going to pound your brains in. Anyway, her parents came in and they tackled him to the ground, called the police, and now he's in jail for 12 years. So, that's when Samantha felt really insecure, and she said, you know what? I got people in Alberta, I'm moving to Alberta. I said, no, you can't. She said, why? And I said, because you just can't. Like, Alberta's not stable enough for you to go. Samantha, you're 15 for fuck's sakes. She's like, yeah. I want to go to Alberta. I'm sick and tired of living here because I feel like I might get used again. And it was her first attempt leaving. I'll give her credit. I will give her credit. She almost had it. Fuck, I need a coffee or something. She almost had it. And she called me and she said she had her stuff packed and everything. She called me, she said, "Where's my ticket?" And I said, "Oh, I'm glad you called back. It's in my back pocket." She went, "Why?" And I said, "Because I don't want you to leave. You're not ready to leave. You can't leave. Even your parents said you're not ready to leave." And she's like, "Well, that's what my parents said. That's not what I said." It's like, true. But I'm telling you, as a person that looks up to you, you are not leaving. And she didn't. She came back and she asked where her ticket was. And I said, "That's okay. It's already been refunded." It's like, you're not leaving. I don't care what you say. You're not leaving. Samantha's older than me. I forgot to mention that. She is older than me. She's currently 18 and I'm 17. So, now time that came when she was 17. I was 16 and it was June 5th on my birthday. I was wondering why Samantha didn't show up, and her parents were there, and my girlfriend Maddie McKenna at the time was there, who I fucking hate now. I wish I never dated her. Oh my. Anyway, the time came, and her parents actually called my cell after the party. They said, "We were at the party, we just didn't bother going to the circle because, well, you were missing on someone." I'm like, "Yeah, speak of someone, where did she go?" And they said, "Well, we had to let her go. Samantha moved to Alberta, and she left on the 4th, and she arrived on the 5th. Holy fuck, that was close! Anyway, and I didn't know what to do. I straight up just burst in tears, and I started calling her. I said, "Is it true?" And she said, "Yes, I'm sorry. I had to move. I couldn't take it anymore." It's like, are you really gonna throw 10 years of friendship down, or 11 years of friendship down the line? And she went, "Well, maybe, maybe not." And at first I was really sketchy of leaving her Alberta. Like, when I went to Greenwood for cadet camp for staff, I almost bought her a ticket back to stay. But I didn't, because I knew at least in Alberta she had a house, she was safe, and that there was nothing that could go wrong, at least in my mind. But there has been a few occasions where work has been really hard for her, like any other human being. And it was just like, "Okay, so are you coming back?" And of course the answer was always no. But every night in Greenwood we talked, we made a phone call to each other, and it was just, it was great. And now we get to the point where I hit grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say this was one of the roughest moments I've ever had in my life for these 3 periods, and this is why I took this semester off. Kids, if you own your own car and you go to high school, do not attempt to run someone over while they're on a fucking bike. Okay? Do not attempt to do that when they're on a bicycle. You will hurt them badly. Yes, that is what happened to me. I got hit by a half-ton truck in the back of the bike. I didn't fly off the bike, but my back tire went from straight to more bent than someone's can't say that. More bent than a fucking banana. That's how bad it was. And it was just like, yeah, okay, these miserable fuckers don't want to pay for a new bike. I'll go to the school police officer. Thank God we did have a school police officer. Can we get a yawn counter going on here? Like, honestly. So thank God we did have a school counselor. And I went to him and I said, alright, the kids just ran me over with their car, basically. And I feel like I shouldn't be here anymore. And they said, okay, we'll see what we can do. Now, throughout my time in grade 10 and 11, I had been bullied a lot. But with my experience from, you know, elementary to junior high and then right up to senior high, I've just learned to shrug it off and move on. And you want to know why? It's because there's no point sobbing about little people that don't matter. If they don't matter in your life, why the fuck are you still sobbing about them? That's like saying there's people behind your back for a reason. They are literally behind you for a reason. They don't belong in front of you. They don't belong behind you. Redo! They don't belong in front of you. They belong behind you. Reason being is because if they can't take in the fact that now you're a strong, independent person that doesn't give a fuck about what anyone else is saying, then is it really worth their time to make fun of you? Like, right from grade 12, which is now, first semester starts on Monday, thankfully, of next week, and out of those entire times, I've been bullied, I want to say, 8 times, and 6 of which, the cops were called, and those were all serious inquiries, so, I mean, it's definitely something to consider, but if there's anyone that's going to bully me now, I say, you know what? You're right. You're behind me now for a reason, because now I really don't give a fuck what you're going to say. As long as you're behind my back, that's all that matters, my dude. I don't care where you are, as long as you're behind me, that's all that matters. And I told my girlfriend this, and I said, if people are going to hate on you because they're behind you, fuck them. Leave them there. If they're going to hate on you because you put them behind you, that's okay. Let them hate. Eventually they'll just stop. But see, if you're being bullied, and you show that bullying person it's actually affecting you, like if you show that you're going to listen to them or do what they say, now you're showing them your weakness. Now you're showing them that if they can, as long as they keep digging at your fucking soul, then they're going to keep doing what they're going to do. But what I did is grade 12, I said I had enough. I had enough. And don't be like me, kids. I actually quit this semester because I just couldn't fucking take it anymore. And I knew that my mother knew that. Like, it was just getting to the point where it was like, you know what? Fuck it. And I regret it. I really and truly do, because I easily could have passed those 2 classes, but thankfully they gave me the second chance, and now they're letting me retake those classes next semester. So I know I can't fuck it up. But that's not the point. The point is that if you're gonna get bullied, at least stand your ground. Don't look at the person and say, sure, I'll bend over backwards for you, just because I feel bad for you, even though I shouldn't be doing it in the first fucking place. What I did is grade 9, I let the person bully me to the point where I went into depression. Now, it wasn't that long of a depression, it was only a week. Well, not even a week, actually. But it still wasn't that long. Credit to Samantha for putting up with me. I'm like, holy shit, this girl put up with me for the longest time ever. And she helped me and I helped her. That's how that worked. Now, what I do for a living is if someone comes up to me and says, I need help with something, or I need to talk to you, automatically I look at my phone and I say, okay, they're the new priority. They need to talk to me, I'm here. What's up? Now, I know 6 different girls that have been through bullying and sexual harassment. And you know what? If a guy came up to me and he said, yeah, it's okay to touch someone without permission, I'd fucking punch him in the nuts. I would go, no. If you're gonna flat out look at me and say it's okay to touch someone without permission, fuck you. I don't care if you're dating them. I don't care if you're married to them or engaged to them or if they're your fiance. I don't give a fuck. If you touch them without permission, you're no longer a man. Would you like it if someone did it to you? Well, okay, I can't say that because now fuckboys are gonna say, oh hell yeah, dude. But it's like the stupidity in this modern society is like kids eating Tide Pods. It's honestly like kids eating Tide Pods. Do you want to know why? They got nothing else better to do with their time other than show the world how fucking stupid they are because they think a Tide Pod looks really delicious. Well, guess what? It's the same deal with bullying. I'm not saying the bulliers are stupid because I know they are. Well, that made 0 fucking sense. I just said they weren't. But I'm not saying the people that are bullying are doing a great job. They're honestly not, and I wish it would just fucking end. But the other stupid part that no one realizes is themselves. If you're being bullied and you're just fucking sitting there in a corner crying your eyes out, that's not gonna do anything. You have to get up. You have to physically talk to somebody. If you don't talk to somebody, how the fuck are they gonna know? Of course, they can always base off of body language and stuff like that, but if you just sit in a corner and jerk off and in tears, how the fuck are they gonna know that you're upset? How are they gonna know that there's something wrong? For all they know, it could be just family issues. But how are they gonna know that you're deeply upset, you know? Like, explain that one to me. Go ahead, explain it to me. Because I know you can't. How are they gonna know that you're upset? How are they gonna know what's really going on? Of course, you could lie to them and say, it's like, oh, yeah, no, it's just family problems. Don't do that. I've been there. Please, no, don't do that. When my father passed away of stage 4 liver cancer, May 2nd, 2016, you know what people said to me? You should have went with him. It should have been you, not him. And you know what I told that person? I didn't tell him to go kill himself. I didn't do that. I'm not the type of person to do that. I told him, I asked him if he had any loved ones that died, and he said yes. And I said, good. It should have been them, not you. Or, fuck! I keep screwing shit up. I said it should have been you, not them. You wanna know why I said that? Because he said it to me. I knew exactly who this fucker was. It was the same fucker that abused me in grade 7 and threw my laptop down the hall that I paid for myself. Well, I fixed it myself, but Mom eventually had it. But anyway, it was the same guy that did it to me. And after all the shit that he put me through, I had to let him have it. Because for 4 years, I kept my mouth shut. I kept my mouth shut, didn't say a word to him. And when he finally broke it at me, I fucking went berserk. I lost it. I said, you know what? It should have been you, not them. And I said, because after all the shit that you've put me through, I'm surprised that I'm still standing here on my own 2 fucking feet. And now I know you guys can't virtually experience what it was like for me, but at least I can somewhat describe to you. It was absolutely horrible, and I regret not talking to someone about it because I let it sit on my shoulders for 4 years. I let it sit on me for 4 years, and it's the worst thing I've ever done. Really and truly is. And I'm glad that Belle let me do this because it's not often I get to share my story. And now what I do is obviously I help people to the best of my ability. Like if they call me at 3 in the morning, I'll gladly pick up the phone and say, hey, what you need? And if it's not a joking matter, then it's not a joking matter. It's as simple as that. Like if they don't want to joke around, that's fine. I didn't want to joke around anyway. But it's like, people in this world need to be more accepting. Like, if someone's upset, you just, yeah, jokes are meant to be funny and stuff, but if someone's upset, you can't exactly be throwing jokes. Like, if someone says, oh, my cat died. Oh, wait, a pussy. You never got that anyway. Like, I mean, it might make them laugh. It definitely made me laugh. But that's, like, as Rocky once said, and I'm going to put this quote in the description, I don't care how tough you are, how strong you are, or how big you are, or as a matter of fact, how famous you are, life will beat you to your knees if you let it. And I sure as hell let my life beat me to my knees. To pray. I sure as hell let life beat me to my knees. And you want to know why I did? It's because I looked at myself and I said, fuck it. Why do I bother trying anymore? And I felt like I didn't have a purpose, and I know a lot of people felt that exact same way. But I told them, I said, I want you to realize you still have a purpose. You're only 16 years old, and now you're telling me that you don't think you want to be living on this fucking planet anymore? It's like, grow some fucking balls, put on your jeans, and walk out of that door with your head held high. And she did. She did exactly that. And you're wondering who this is, it's not Samantha. It's actually a girl it's actually a girl that I helped in Greenwood. She called me one night. I gave her my number. I know you're not supposed to, but I gave her my number. And I said, in case you need me, call me. She called me at 2 o'clock in the morning one night, and I had to work night shift the next day. So I had to get sleep. Anyway, she called me and she said, there's a bunch of rambling going on in the boy barracks. I don't know what's going on. And I knew exactly what was happening. One of the guys in the barracks, and it wasn't one of my kids, thank God, one of my squadron kids, but one of the guys in the barracks put a belt over the edge of their bed and put it around their neck. And the boys were screaming at the top of their lungs, and no one on night shift heard it. That's the quickest I've ever gotten dressed, quickest I've ever run out of building, and quickest I've ever ran a fucking kilometer to the camp. And it was just like, I looked at him and I just said, why? And he said, you know what? I don't know. It's like, I know life is hard. I know that. And I explained him my story, and we stayed up for about 2 hours. And then this was during the first week, and the CEO contacted me at camp, and she said, I have a new achievement for you. I want you to become assistant camp counselor. And I said, sure, by all means, I'll gladly become assistant camp counselor. And it was basically mind-blowing because out of how many kids I've helped at camp and how many people I help on a daily basis now, Bobby will have to wait, but out of how many kids I helped and how many kids I help on a daily basis, it's just, it made me feel, it makes me feel happy that now I can talk to people and not get torn a new asshole. Dude GTS typed in the chat, he's like, hey yo, can I join? And I'm like, just wait. It amazes me how many people I help on a daily basis, and I know I say it a lot, but I can't emphasize it enough. If you take 5 minutes out of your day to help someone that you need, whether it be a friend, your girlfriend, your spouse, whoever, but if you take 5 minutes out of your day to help someone, I guarantee you your day will go from shit to better. Because what's going to happen is, obviously, you're going to feel a whole lot better that now you've just helped the person. Maybe out of suicide, maybe out of something else. Who knows? I'm not trying to start a competition of any sort, but I've helped 8 people out of suicide and 10 people out of depression. So you tell me, am I doing a good deed, or am I just sucking my own dick here and just digging myself a grave? Because at the end of the day, somebody could T-bone my bike. Whether it be just be sitting still, someone could T-bone my bike, and I would think to myself, okay, I'm still standing, I'm still breathing, and I still have everyone that I love. The bike can be replaced. Yes, there's going to be memories and stuff on the bike, but it can be replaced. Just like my friends, I say you can't be replaced, and it's true. They honestly cannot be replaced. Anything electronic like this TV, smash, it can be replaced. The PS3, it can be replaced. The hard drive can be replaced. The PC can be replaced. The only thing that can't be replaced is somebody's life. So if you're telling me that you're going to take an electronic over someone's life, go fuck yourself. No one's life can be replaced. I don't care who you are. I don't care how it's going to get invented. Nobody's life can get replaced. I'm going to call Bobby because he wants to join in on the conversation too. So give me a sec while I get a microphone and get my tablet. But like I said, guys, I'm not trying to be rude, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but if you're going to straight up tell me that somebody can be replaced, I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself. They cannot be replaced. And I told myself I wouldn't cry, and I kind of did, but but that's because I'm just a little pussy. Anyway, Dude GTS wanted to jump in on this conversation too, so I'm gonna let him jump in. Oh. You wanted the piece of information to share?
I just think I'm listening to what you're saying, bro, and it's all true. And I've had issues in the past as well. I've had issues with depression and anxiety, and I still do to an extent. But the thing is, the difference now compared to then, because you it hit me at home when you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Like when I was 16, I'm 20 years old now. I'm going to turn 21 in less than a month. And when I was 16 years old, there was a point in time where I didn't want to live anymore. And to think back on it, to reflect on it, you saying that makes me realize how absurd that is. You know what I mean? It makes me realize how crazy that is. That your mind can be altered in a way that you're just getting your life started, and literally you already don't want to live anymore. And not a lot of kids deal with that. To a much worse extent than even we do, you know what I mean? Or we did at one point, right? So it's just crazy to think that, people are still dealing with this, and even though it's easy to forget that people are dealing with it because you finally made it past it. Because I finally made it past my depression and anxiety, and the last thing I want to think about is depression and anxiety. So what I went through during that time. But at the same time, there are still people going up, who are out there that piece of viable information that you have getting over your struggles can be a whole difference to them. It can make a huge difference. Yeah.
But see, now the hardest part is telling someone to get over it, because you just can't tell someone flat out to get over it.
No, that's I always tell people, bro. I get what you're feeling right now, and there is I am not going to try to solve it right here and right now, because I know that's not possible. I've been through the same shit. And right there, you gain credibility in their mind. When you know that it can't be fixed in one session or one time talking to them, you gain that credibility. You know what I mean? Because they know it's not possible at that point in time. The thing is, it's a mindset. Whatever it is you're trying to get over, whatever it is, eventually you're going to come to a point. And for me, honestly, it was something so simple, like my ex-girlfriend. That was what was making me upset, right?
Oh, I feel your pain.
At the time, bro, like, it was so bad that literally I didn't want to live anymore. And it's almost embarrassing to say now, but at the same time, I'm not ashamed of saying it, because I know other people have gone through it too.
Yeah.
And it came to the point where I realized, like, there are so many other women out there that are amazing, and I'm stuck on this one who's, you know, kind of a bitch. And it's just like, and you have to start thinking rationally. Eventually, your irrational brain will start thinking rationally again, and as soon as you get that rationale, you'll find it. You'll find the way to get over your struggles. And you know, it's really difficult. It's a difficult situation always. Like when you're feeling that way, it's difficult to think straight, but eventually you will. And you have to. The whole point of me saying this is you have to realize when you're struggling that eventually it will end. You don't know how it's going to end. You don't know how your pain is going to end. You don't know how your sorrow is going to end. But you have to know that it's going to end eventually, some way, somehow.
Yeah.
And you have to genuinely believe that, because I know if there is no logical way that it will end. I don't know how to say it, but if there's no logical way in your head, it's hard to think that it will end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you have to keep with that mindset. And eventually, when you do get over it, you'll look back on it, you'll be like, damn, you know? Like,
damn, what the fuck did I survive from?
What the fuck? Yeah, what the fuck was I thinking? You know, I should have been. You know, I wish I could have gone over that sooner and not, you know, been stuck on that. But at the same time, you know, it's life lessons. But at the same, you know, people shouldn't be out there. You know, that's why there's a day like this. I'm so happy there's, you know, Bell Nuts Talk. I don't know when it emerged, but it emerged no more than 5-6 years ago, and I'm so happy it has, because you know, it gives people an opportunity and a platform. Like, I'm on Twitter, and that's all people are tweeting, and it's beautiful, you know?
Yeah.
We take one day out of the year to stop talking about Kim Kardashian and all the garbage, you know, like, and we're all come together to talk about real issues, and it's a beautiful thing, you know?
It's just, I get it. Stuff is going to be hard. Me and Bobby have been there. We've both done that before. But the problem that me and him see a lot is that people just don't know how to get the proper mindset and say, oh, shit, should I move on?
And it's not like, if you don't have that mindset, you're in a state of depression, it's not your fault. It's really not your fault. But if you stop pursuing that mind, if you stop pursuing the search for that mindset, then it becomes on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because once you find, like, I used to have issues of love. Like, it wasn't horrible bullying, but it was there. Like, in elementary school,
it was still there. Yeah.
There were groups of people that didn't like me, and they picked on me, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't have the wittiness to come up with comebacks. I didn't feel like I could do anything about it. I just felt like I was being bullied. And yeah, I talked about it with my parents. Sometimes, you know, I went to the school about it. But it wasn't horrible. It was just really, you know, it was. Maybe at the time it was bad. It's hard to remember. Again, this was damn near 10 plus years ago. But like in elementary school, man, I felt like garbage because some people bullied me. The main thing is, eventually you have to realize that some of these people are going to grow up. Even late into your teens, people are going to grow up. Even when I'm still dealing with it now, I'm 21 and I'm dealing with people who are 20 plus years old that still need to grow up, you know? And it's not like necessarily a bad thing, but realizing the difference between someone being a complete dickhead to you and not having, you know, the kind of it's the word I'm looking for. The ability, not having the problem, like they're not growing up yet. The difference between someone not growing up and the difference between someone being a massive dickhead on the surface, no matter what, you have to realize that, like, if you're getting bullied, eventually, if you don't give them the attention that they deserve, and they can very well end up being a dickhead regardless of what they girlfriend on, but just don't give them the attention.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I know it's very cliche, and everyone says, "Oh, just don't give them attention." And it's hard. I get that it's hard, but you have to be in the mindset that you don't give a fuck about it.
Like the moment you start giving a bully attention is the moment you're no longer it's the moment it's no longer their fault. Now it's your fault. Because
it's better that you just forget about it. You know, if someone tries to say something mean to you, just laugh at them. You know, laugh at them and walk away. That's all you really need to do, because at the end of the day, you're better than them. They are the people. They are the people being they're the ones being hurtful to you. They're being assholes to you. You are the better person. You are the bigger person for laughing at them and walking away. So at the end of the day, if they grow up, then they'll realize what they were doing was stupid. And if they're dickheads, then you don't have to associate yourself with them. That's the biggest thing. Is I feel like people go out of their way to try to, come back or win some argument or get in a pissing contest with someone they don't like. It doesn't matter. Just fucking ignore them. It doesn't matter at all. And do you? There's so many people out there. There's tons of people out there you're gonna find interesting. You don't need to harp on ones that either don't fuck with you and they don't like you, or they, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to just get stuck on those people.
Yeah.
Because those people are toxic. Those people are the people you don't want to spend your time around. Like, I mean, it's. I try to bring up specific scenarios, but I would be in my basement. I'd be on my PS3 playing Modern Warfare 2. Listening to like really sad music and just in my basement trying to talk to my video game friends, missing school because I was just depressed about this one fucking chick that like hadn't liked me for over a year after we broke up. Like, and it was really sad. I wasted a lot of my high school being stuck on that, and it was just, when you have days like this, anybody else who's having the same issue I had, or the same issues Danny's had, or the different issues that, maybe that are even worse than ours, it's great that we have a day like this to come together and, talk about it, right? So.
Everyone's been asking how's Samantha doing since her cyberbullying incident. I'd like to say she is doing well. The bastard that caused it is now getting charged, and Samantha's name is not being released to the public.
That's positive too, because that's positive too, because also, like, the last few years we've seen a move with mental health and, people doing stuff online, or, people bullying and having a negative effect. People are getting charged. People are getting in trouble for it. People are being held accountable for their stupidity and their actions. I don't know. It's really impossible to tell how much of an impact that movement has had on the amount of bullying, but I'm sure if we keep this up, I'm sure if, it becomes something where it's more black and white. Because right now it's a judgment call, you know what I mean? Like, someone getting charged for bullying is completely a judgment call on the part of authorities or whatever. If we get something that's more black and white, I'm sure bullying will come down,
And see, this is where a lot of people say, well, how do I deal with something like that? Well, I mean, it's pretty easy. The first thing you should do is you should go to your parents, because then they can talk it out, or they can get in touch with a local authority, like a police officer, RCMP, or Mounted Police, or whoever. And then get in
touch with your parents, and, even if you don't, like, get in touch with your, if you feel like your parents, you're obviously going to get a lot out of your parents when you talk with them, because at the end of the day, most of the time, they care about you. Like, not everybody has that luxury, unfortunately. But talk to your friends. Talk to a lot of people about it. Don't be afraid to talk about it. That's the biggest thing. A lot of people feel like if they show that they care, that they're being bullied. Like, if they show like they care a lot and they're really frustrated about being bullied, they feel like they're taking an L. You know what I mean?
Don't feel like you're
taking an L. Don't feel like you're taking an L. Just go to your friends. It doesn't matter if you feel like you're being bullied. Just don't let your ego get in the way of talking to people. Because if you let your ego get in the way of talking to people, then you're gonna get nowhere. You're just gonna feel like garbage, and you're gonna bottle all of that anger.
And also, another thing to add too is that when a lot of people feel like they talk to their friends, they feel like they're just doing it, and then they're showing a weak spot. You're actually not showing a weak spot. You're just showing the spot that you don't want to be in.
Exactly.
It's like on Monopoly. You don't want to stay in jail. Fuck no. You want to go across that go sign and get the $200.
Yeah.
You want to land on Boardwalk and fuck everyone over. Well, that's what bullies do. They land on Boardwalk and they fuck everyone over. And then when it happens to them, they get fucked over.
It's just, the biggest thing is, realizing realizing what's going on and being true to yourself. If you're true to yourself and in your mind you know it's happening, and you're able to realize that it's happening and do something about it, then that's the biggest thing. And Bell Let's Talk allows us to talk about things like this. Not just talk, but listen. Sometimes listening is equally as important as talking. You know?
Well, they both play a really important role, and that's what a lot of people don't see.
I always say this to people, but any advice is good advice. Because if it's garbage advice, you realize that it's garbage advice. In the future, you know not to take that advice. Where if it's good advice, you just learn something new, and there's no bad advice. You either learn or you win. That's my philosophy, you know.
Another thing to add too is that
that's how you grow as an individual.
Another thing to add too is that if you know that there's people standing by like your friends by a corner and watching it, now you're not in fault. The bully is still in fault, but not as much as your friends. Because see, what happened is your friends stood at that corner and just watched you, maybe pull out a cell phone or do whatever they want, and then come up to you and say, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry." And then when you realize they upload the video, that's when you lose your shit. Because now it's just not about the bully; it's now about the bully and your friend.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, there's some people in this world that have some sympathy, like myself, but it's just those people that are giving us a bad name are just destroying Bell Let's Talk. And, I mean, thank God there's over 3,000 people right now watching that live stream. Not my stream, unfortunately, but Bell's stream. Because it shows that... But it shows that a lot of people come out on this one particular day. But why this one particular day? Why not any other day? Think about that for a second. If you can come out on this one day, why can't you come out on any other day?
Thing is, a lot of people don't have that kind of attention span. You know?
I understand that, but
that's the big thing. I think it's good that we were starting with a day, and it's good. It should be every day that you have. Like if someone, you were talking about it earlier, like if someone messages you, your attention goes to them.
I'm always the first one on it, even when I'm bike riding.
Your attention goes to them, and it's perfect.
Even if I'm bike riding, I pull out the headset and I start going.
Yeah, and like you think about things like Logic, for instance. You know the rapper Logic. He put out that song, the phone number, the suicide hotline phone number, 1-800 whatever. And that was a beautiful track. Like I've listened to Logic for a long time, like just as an artist, even before he really got his break at Def Jam and all that stuff. So, but I've been listening to him for a long time, and he never put out a track like that in the sense that it was, it was so impactful. Like the fact that that was his time, and he showed everybody that, that's the kind of artist he is, and that's what we should be talking about. We shouldn't be talking about money, drugs, hoes, and bitches. Like, I've seen even the drug culture get worse, like, over the years, like, in songs, in music. Like, in 2012, they were talking about, like, smoking weed, but, like, kind of making fun of themselves for doing it and joking around. Now you hear rappers literally just saying, do Xanax. You know what I mean? Like, that's horrible. It's just devolved in such a horrible way. And for Logic to come out with a track like that and have it get the attention that it got, that's huge too, man.
And see, that's how people get their attention, is by music people, because they're the first ones to do it.
Famous people, just anybody who has a platform to speak on. And another one, I mentioned this on one of the videos on my YouTube channel. It's a random video that I did on Dude Talks. Is a lot of people like to try to downplay what they're doing, okay? And they like to say, I'm no philosopher, and I'm no doctor, and I'm not like a speech person. Like I'm not a kind of person to tell a speech. But if you have words of wisdom, it doesn't matter if you're a storyteller. It doesn't matter if you're the greatest writer. It doesn't matter if you're the greatest persuasive person. Like, if you can help someone, just go do it. Don't downplay it. It's huge that you're doing it. Just because you're not famous and you don't have the platform other people do, every little bit helps. If you're going out of your way to help 5 people in a year, let's say, that's huge. That you're doing everything that you can do to help people. It doesn't matter if you see other people on the internet who have, lots of fame and stuff, being able, anybody that you can help on a personal level is so important. And it's so important to not downplay that as something like just ordinary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the more people look at it in a positive light, the more people look at support in a positive light, the more people are going to do it. You know?
Yeah. It just... this kind of stuff spreads. We have to get it started in order for it to take part.
Mm-hmm. I remember, man, like, I remember when I first started playing GT6 with you, it was like late 2015, I would say.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bring up the actual streams, but like at the time I was with a girl and stuff, and like it didn't work out, and I realized like after it didn't work out, like I'm a changed person. I've grown as a person because the last girl I was with, when she left, I was depressed for over a year and a half after that, you know.
Yeah.
And I had evolved as a person, and I was so much better for it. And then the next day, you know, I wasn't really that upset. You know, of course I was a little tilted that I wasn't with her anymore, and it was just whatever. But, you know, the next day I got on GT6, I joined another Danny live stream, and we shot the shit like nothing happened, you know? It was awesome, right?
I remember what stream that was, too. I took it down.
Well, I don't even think I mentioned it to you. I don't think I mentioned it to anyone.
No, but the tone of your voice gave it away, so I archived the stream. I still have it. It's just not on the channel.
I think it is still on the channel. I don't think it's the same one. It might have been the LS2 late session.
Yeah.
I think that's still up. But
Memories with Racing Studios. Stay tuned.
Bro, those videos were so funny though. Those videos were so stupid, but they were funny as fuck. There was the Viper with testosterone on stage.
Yeah. Fucking Bulldog coming in with the Dodge Ram.
Yeah. Oh, Buck. That would have been the greatest video ever with Buck if your audio wasn't messed up.
Yeah, because my capture card decided to fuck itself over.
Yeah. That was like the greatest video.
So is that all you wanted to say?
I mean, I guess I'll just stand here and listen, and if I have to add to, if I can elaborate on anything you say or whatever, I'll say. I have nothing better to do. I have class at, I think.
Oh, fuck. School got canceled today, so I mean, I'm happy.
I like that. I like that in college, bro.
It got canceled yesterday, too, so I mean, yeah.
I have class from 1 to 3, and then I have a 2-hour break, and then I have 5 to 8, like, rip me.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
But I'm okay with it, bro. Like, I love, like, the biggest thing that gets me through my college is, like, my classmates. They're fucking awesome. I love, like, I have so many friends in that class.
Yeah, there is one more thing I will mention that we did both forget to mention somehow, is that even if you're going to school and, like, you notice someone that you don't, like, you barely talk to on, like, maybe the side of the corner doing whatever they want, even if you go to school and you have, you know, exams to study for, I get it, we've all been there. But at least do yourself a favor, maybe do him or her a favor, and, you know, sit down, maybe talk to someone. Don't just fucking leave them there in the corner and go, oh, yeah, no, she'll be fine. Don't just assume that.
I think the biggest thing with people, if you find yourself being really shy at school and you're not talking to a lot of people, you'd rather not talk to people, just start being, like, real with yourself in the sense that, like, start talking more and start, like, you know, letting your personality out more. Because I feel like a lot of people get judged. It's not kind of like the way it is in TV shows. In TV shows, people get judged for what it is they enjoy doing and what it is they like. Like, there's the jocks, and then there's the, you know, there's just a bunch of different groups of people. But, like, in real life, I feel like, at least this is me, if I'm being myself and I'm, you know, I have my own style. I'm not afraid to talk. I'm not afraid to. If I'm being myself, people don't see through that. People look at that and say, "Hey, you know, I want to be him." I can have a conversation with someone who has none of the same interests as me and enjoy myself because I have an open mind and I'm willing to talk and I'm willing to, you know, and I'm intrigued by other people that aren't exactly like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And see, a lot of people don't see that. Like, a lot of people can't look through that goddamn mirror and see the good inside that person. Like, the way that I roll is that if you want to judge a person, at least know their background before you make any decisions. I would rather someone know my background and make fun of me than someone come up to me and say, go kill yourself.
Yeah. And the thing with me is, like, I used to be, in high school, I used to play, like, AAA hockey, I used to play baseball, but I also went around my high school in grade 11 with a light blue Nintendo DS playing Pokemon, like, in between classes.
Dude.
I wasn't fucking afraid to, like, be, like, polar opposites. If I was entertained by something or if I enjoyed something, I didn't try to fit into some image that's whether it be social media or TV gives to me. I don't fit into an image. I just do me. I do.
Yeah.
I'm my own man. I'm my own human being.
Yeah.
Right. You have to think like that. You can't just if you know a lot of. I remember some lyrics that I heard by this other rapper I know. Jesus Christ, just talking about rap now all the time. But he said, like basically the lyrics was, she said she'd rather get to know me than a fake dude that I made up last week.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, like, and that's so true because that's another thing is like if you want to get with a woman or if you want to like, you know, meet a nice girl and all that, if you're being fake, she'll see right through that. Like 100%. Like I've been there. You know, if you try to be someone that you're not, and you try to like fit into a group that you know you don't really care about, or you do something you don't enjoy doing, she'll see right through that. Like it's so obvious that you know.
Yeah.
That's why if you're just being yourself, that's like the best way to like attract anyone. Whether you want to be friends with someone or you want to have a significant other, you just be yourself. And at the end of the day, you'll not only will you'll be better for being yourself, but you'll be happier too. Yeah. It's just that's the way it works out, you know.
For anyone that kind of still doesn't understand, and you're a real good car enthusiast, like you know, like how to, you know, like different problems on a car, take this lesson as a check engine light. The moment there's a problem, the engine light comes on, and a lot of people just end up ignoring it. But when it comes to a serious problem and the check engine light starts flashing, that's when they go, oh fuck, I probably should have fixed it before. So that's basically the same situation we're trying to explain, is that if your check engine light's coming on in your life right now, like in your own body, fix it.
Just, don't let it, it's like school, it's like procrastinating. Like, you see the due date coming up in 2 days, your check engine light comes on, but you don't really give a fuck, and then 2 hours to go, you have to submit an assignment, you haven't done it yet. You know, you have to just be ahead of the game. That's what I'm saying. Always be ahead of the game.
A lot of people just say, whatever, the check engine light's on. It will still make it to point B, yes, but with a bit of trouble.
Yeah. But, by the way, Danny, speaking of cars, that TSO 30 looks like it's oversteering like a motherfucker.
Oh, it is. Trust me, it is. It's power sliding every fucking corner.
Yeah, when you get on the power, do you want me to help you with the setup?
Oh, God, no. This is still stock suspension. But anyway, other than that, I would like to thank Bell Alliant for letting me participate in a Bell Let's Talk stream. I would like to thank Bobby for coming on the phone. And I would also like to thank the following people: Sadie, Samantha, Trinity, my girlfriend, and most importantly, Mackenzie. Mainly because those people have helped me through my life. I know Bobby has, because there was times where I called you. And then there's other people too that they didn't want to be on the list, so I'm gonna have to respect that. But if you guys have enjoyed the live stream, please leave a like, comment, and do not forget to subscribe. And also another thing, if you want to post your experience in the comment, by all means go ahead, because I actually do have a police officer watching this back at the headquarters, and he told me that if anyone posts a comment like explaining their life story, he will make sure that no one else will cyberbully you by posting another comment saying, you made a stupid fucking mistake, what are you doing? Instead, he wants to see a comment saying, sure, I'll help you, or whatever the case will be. So shout out to him too. And also, once again, thank you for 400 subscribers.
That's awesome, man. I just saw that now, actually, with 400.
What are you doing, man? Has it really been an hour? Holy shit.
You'll probably beat me to 500 because I haven't been uploading at all on this channel.
Anyway, enough of the sorrow talk. Stay tuned for another stream when we go to this lobby. See you guys later.